So the big question is this: how do most agents who don't have access to the secrets that the top agents in our industry hoard to themselves grow and prosper in today's real estate environment? That's the question. And this video podcast is the answer. I'm Pat Hyben, and welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. Rockstar Nation, thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to stay to the end, where our guests will be offering a free gift. As you know, all of our guests offer a free gift, and all of these gifts can be found on the Agent Success Toolbox. You could find that by going to hybendigital.com/toolbox, or simply texting the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox to 444-999. I am going to put today's free gift in today's show notes, but if you want all of them, including gifts from most of our guests that have come on the show, just go to the Agent Success Toolbox. All right, Rockstar Nation, I got a fun guest coming back. Good friend of mine I've known for a long time, and I've watched grow from basically from, I don't want to say rags to riches, but I'm going to say when he first started his company with a couple of people, and now he's got 40 people working for him, and he's got, done thousands and thousands of real estate related advertising campaigns for people. And basically this guy knows, everybody in the know in the real estate sales game, and what people are doing modern day to get more listings, mainly listings, but of course buyers are byproduct of listings. So it's exciting. So anyways, Matt Wagner's on the line. He was episode 494, and then he was episode 92. Yes, he was in the top 100. I don't even know if you can hear that on iTunes anymore. So old. But I got him back, and he's better than ever, and I'm excited. We're going to get into some deep stuff here. So Matt, welcome back for the third time to Real Estate Rockstars.
Man, it's an honor to be here, Pat. And listen, I'm proud of you for all the episodes you've done. I mean, some of these guys start a podcast and they're done after 20 episodes, but man, you're closing in on 1,000. That's very impressive.
Yeah, it's scary almost, Scary. First of all, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Matt, so they can get to know you better?
Yeah, so I mean, I know I've kind of gotten a reputation as the radio guy around the industry, but I was a radio guy that was working at Clear Channel Radio, and I was at the point working about 50 different accounts. I loved it. It's what I did. And I happened to stumble across an agent named Jay Kinder. I basically doubled his business by using formulas that I knew would work on radio. And then one day at lunch, I was joking around just saying, hey, how can I clone you by 30? He brings me to a conference. I wound up meeting all these agents. And I slowly began to realize that really, I give a lot of props to Russell Shaw, and he was a good friend of yours, and I got to know him and respect him. He was the only guy that was really doing radio the right way, and I just found a different way to do it. There just was a little bit of different style, but I mean, there's a lot of different ways to make it work. But he was the only guy that was doing it, but not teaching and not treating it as a business. He was a realtor. I realized there was an opportunity to go and leave Clear Channel and start a business that would basically train people on the right ways to use radio, whether it was a talk show, whether it was an endorsement, whether it was high frequency, whether it was now TV and then now digital. There was just a lot of things that people could do. And then you just I didn't mass market. I just plucked one good agent, because I began to realize that these guys all knew each other. And I learned pretty fast that the best people making money were hanging at the bar after midnight. So I would just go and meet different good agents, and it's kind of like Will Smith said, right? You build a wall by starting with one brick, lay it perfectly, then lay the next brick, then the next brick. And then before you know it, here I'm in 200 markets and work with 200 agents, doing, millions of dollars in buying advertising. I needed a team. I built a team. So now we got a team of, just hit 40, my 40th person that we added. And, life's good. And you learn a lot of things along the way. It's kind of neat watching your children grow. I've seen people go from 70 transactions to now, a dozen that have done over 1,000 units. It's just fun to watch that whole process.
Let me slow you down. 12 of your clients are selling over 1,000 houses a year?
I won't say, I'll say I've worked with people, because there's some people that have kind of moved
Yeah.
on to bigger other things, but I've worked with people. I worked with over a dozen clients that have sold over 1,000 units.
Sold over 1,000 units. Yeah, yeah. And now you have over 200, essentially. Started out as
Yeah.
one. I mean, that's really, really cool. So let's talk about and how many years has it been?
It's been almost 15. It'll be 15 this September.
15 years. 15 years. All right. So 15 years dealing with top real estate agents. Boy, you must have patience and understanding.
Yeah, you could say that.
Well,
I won't deny that.
let's talk about, really, I want to talk about lessons you've learned from dealing with top agents, right? You got 200 top agents. I talk a little bit about the DNA of a top agent, but also, but there's some specific things that you wrote down we're going to dig into that are about how you went from zero to hero in 15 years. And we're going to touch on that too. But let's talk about the DNA of a top agent. You got 200 top agents. You've probably dealt with 400 of these men and women who are massively high achievers. What are some of the common chords?
I would say the common chords is that there are real estate doesn't, when you get your real estate license, they don't train you how to be a team. That's not part of the equation. So there's a lot of really good salespeople out there. And I think one thing I've learned over the years is to look for people that are business minded people, not just good salesmen. What do I mean by that? You come in, like I look at a Lance Loken that goes from, 0 to 83 million in 3 years. And
Clear
then
businessman, clear
business,
business,
yep,
zero agent.
yep.
Right?
In fact,
You know
he'll
what I
even
mean?
tell
Yeah.
you, I don't hire realtors. I hire people that want to learn business, you know? So I think coming in with a plan, and they, so they may not have come in as a business person, but they learn quickly to learn from those that are business people. They hire a coach, some hire 2 coaches, and they implement the things their coach teaches them. And then they also surround themselves with other people that also run a business. Because let's face it, you're not going to hang too long with somebody. They're going to make you feel really uncomfortable if you're running a shoddy business.
Yeah.
So I would say that's number
makes
one.
sense. Okay.
Yeah, that's one. So that's certainly
And
one
like, how,
quality.
talk to me about how they all embrace um, getting business over and above the sphere of influence. I think a lot of agents, like, the only way in their mind that they're going to increase their businesses is to increase their sphere of influence. And we all know that, there's only so much business you're going to do from your sphere and within your sphere, through your sphere, whatever. Some people will debate me on that. But certainly the people that you're dealing with are like, look, I'm going to do my sphere, but I don't got time for that. I actually want non-sphere business, somebody else's sphere. I want my competitor's sphere. So talk to me about that mindset of how they're using advertising and TV and just wanting to go after everyone else's sphere.
I guess maybe this will answer the question, but I got a chance to meet, hang out, and get to know Damon John from Shark Tank because of Barbara. And the one thing I really wanted to learn from him, he built his business on endorsements, right? Marketing, right? That's a big. So I figured he's got to have some intellectual things that he tries to tell people that illustrates the value of marketing. And so I got a chance to ask him, hey, Damon, so when you're business partners, how do you articulate the value of marketing in a business? And you know what his profound answer was? He said, I've just found over the years, either some people get it or they don't get it.
Really?
And I'm like, okay. But then the more I think about it, the more I've just found over the years that there are some agents that will battle you on analytics or on, cost per point or cost per customer. And they want to scrutinize every aspect of, well, so how many phone calls am I going to get a month, off this? And they're just way too analytical. They don't understand that the marketing and the guys, but a guy like Lance Loken, he not only looks at the numbers, for instance, or I look at a Rob Dukansky that's now, doing close to 10 million GCI. While they look at the numbers to make sure that they're not costing them money, they see the bigger picture to realize that an endorsement like a Barbara Corcoran, that can help you land a good recruit. That can help you influence other people that will now refer you because of who you're doing, because of who you know.
Yeah.
There's other intrinsic values to marketing. It could be it wakes up that past client that now refers you to somebody. The value of good marketing, some people either get it or they're always trying to chase down a number to quantify it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I love it. All right, yeah. The cool thing about what I've watched in you, Matt, is you're a firm believer of the concept, the philosophy of one thing leads to another. Right? I've had many people tell me that throughout my life, and I believe it too. Like, you don't know what the universe is going to bring. But one thing we do know is that one thing does lead to another. You don't know how that's going to happen, but it does. And essentially, that's what that you're saying with these people. They believe that one thing leads to another. I mean, they believe if they do the television, if they do the radio, it's not just about how many calls they got or how many listings they got, but it's also going to lead to more agents, and it's going to lead to more, introductions to other people and other things and other ideas. And one thing leads to another. It just blossoms, right?
It's an interesting example about that. So, one of the guys we worked with recently, Gary Levox of Rascal Flatts. So Brian Birds, he was also using that. So we got to go to their show in Denver. And I'll never forget, we're sitting here at Red Rocks, which is, if you've never been there, it's one
I
of
was
the most
just there
amazing.
like 2 weeks ago, dude.
Dude, awesome.
Okay,
So
Casey Musgraves.
Musgraves.
Yeah, I didn't know who she was till like a week before I got there. But anyways, yeah, that was a cool venue.
That's very cool. So we're sitting there. The guy next to him, in between the opening act and Rascal Flatts, starts talking to Brian about, yeah, what do you do? So they started talking. Winds up, the guy's an investor, and winds up coming down and spending. I got $1 million I want to invest in El Paso. What would you? How many properties could that buy? Wound up selling him 6 rental properties that he had just by going to a show with me, and because he told him about the marketing that he does and why he was there. He would have never had that otherwise,
Right.
But it's just one of those things you can't put.
And he probably said that guy on stage endorses me.
Right. He's like, yeah, he played him his spot, and it was like, wow, you know him.
And what Matt is talking about is his part. One of his gigs is, he's all about the endorsement. Obviously, we're talking about endorsements. Here in Rascal Flatts, the dude, country music star, endorses his people, and endorsements works. I mean, that's why these basketball players and sports people, get billions of dollars for smiling next to a sneaker that they basically looked at 10 and picked which one felt like them, right? And so endorsements work, guys. I listened to a fascinating thing about endorsements the other day, and it was really about marketing, and it was about vodka. And the guy was saying, people don't think about this, but vodka has no smell, right? That's why a lot of alcoholics drink vodka, because you can't smell it during the freaking day. So vodka has no smell, and virtually really has no taste. Some people would argue with that, but virtually has no taste. It's an alcoholic taste. Yet you go to a bar or a liquor store, and there's 20 vodkas, and they're all different, right? Grey Goose is different than Ciroc. That's different than, Kettle One and all this. But it's all marketing, right? It's all marketing. So to say that by P. Diddy endorsing Ciroc, and by, Conor McGregor endorsing his Irish whiskey or whatever, that it doesn't work, is false. It freaking works, right?
Well, remember the Super Bowl? Remember when the drink Bai came out, and they wanted to sell it, and they had Christopher Walken.
What?
There was a drink called Bai, BAI,
Okay.
So to market it, they launched it at the Super
Oh
Bowl.
yeah, yeah. I like that. I like the coconut. I like the
And then they
coconut.
had
Yeah, yeah.
and they had Christopher Walken trying to sing "Bye Bye Bye," and Justin Timberlake sitting next to him,
Yeah, yeah.
shaking his head. I mean, you don't forget it, right? What are you saying after the Super Bowl? Bye bye bye. Pretty clever, right? You go out and
Yeah.
buy it and you drink it. But the fact is, the Super Bowl, the biggest, most expensive day. Even Gary Vaynerchuk said it's like the best place you could ever advertise because you've got a captive audience. Try to count how many endorsements you see in those ads. It's dozens. All the big Papa John's. I mean, look. You know what do they have? Brad Paisley and Peyton Manning are doing a nationwide insurance commercial. What do those guys have to do with insurance, right?
Nothing.
Right. But you remember it, and you know what? It makes people stop, look, and listen. And I think that's one of the big misconceptions about it is that yeah, it might cost a little bit of money, but to stand out from the clutter, to be memorable, to be that thing that someone talks about at the coffee, the coffee pot the next day or the water cooler. That's what it does. It gets people to stop and care.
It works. TribeOfMillionaires.com. Guys, write that down. Rockstar Nation got a free special offer for you. Now, I've just written a book, and it's just been published. Co-authored it with David Osborne, who's been on this show multiple times. If you don't know David, he is one of the top execs at Keller Williams Real Estate, was personally mentored for the last 2 decades by Gary Keller himself, and he's in all kinds of businesses. His bio and explanation and everything is in this book. But anyways, David and I got together. We decided to write a book. We called it Tribe of Millionaires. And I guarantee you it's going to change your life. To find out more, just go to tribeofmillionaires.com. We're going to give it to you absolutely free. Only thing we ask in return is, of course, number one, you pay the shipping. Not a big deal. But number two, that you go on Amazon and write us a review. We're really looking to get an incredible amount of reviews. And because of that, we're giving this book away for free. Go to tribeofmillionaires.com today. It's Teamtober here at Rebus University, and we're running a special for Real Estate Rockstar Nation. This special is going to save you 90% on your team's real estate training. And the cool thing is, as a team leader, you don't got to do nothing. Just put your team to work on this incredible training. Here's how it works. This week, it's the Certified Buyer Agent course. Buy the Certified Buyer Agent course. Yes, Carrie Shull, a billion-dollar realtor whose agents average $250,000 in gross commissions each, teaches this exclusive course that where if you buy one, you get 9 free. That means one person on your team takes it, the other 9 can take it as well simultaneously or separately, no time limit. And the cool part about it is you can talk about this on your team meetings. You could talk about what did you learn? How are you going to close more buyers this year? I guarantee you take this course, you're going to close a multiple of buyer deals just as a result of using these strategies that Carrie Shull teaches. So to get essentially 90% off, which is buy one, get 9 free, simply go to hibandigital.com/teams. This offer is only valid for this week only. Next week will be another course. That's hibandigital.com/teams. It works. So let's talk about some other things, because I know you'd written a bunch of stuff down. Some of these, and I don't mean to offend you here, but some of these, are cliches in a sense, and I don't want to get caught up in them. I want to go to some really good stuff here that's going to, impact people that they probably haven't heard before. One of the things that I like that you say here is allow your weaknesses to become your strengths. Tell me about that. What do you mean by that? A lot of people are being like, what do you mean? Well, I mean, if I'm weak, if I'm uncoordinated, I'm not going to play basketball. That's it. So talk to me about this.
I think in business, you have to realize you're not going to be great at everything. And you can kid yourself and think that I can do everything. I can micromanage, And all it does is you get frustrated and you make mistakes. They can be very, very costly. The thing that I learned really fast, I actually tried to start my own business back in my early 20s and fell on my face. And I realized that I suck at numbers. I'm not good at math. I struggled in high school with it. I'm a concept guy. So what did I learn? I learned that when I started my own business the second time, in Oklahoma, I hired a really smart accountant, bookkeeper that knew numbers like the back of her hand. And I've always surrounded myself with good accounting people that now are far better than me, that do it well. And along the way, even in business, as I've grown now, a team, I think some people are scared to hire people that are smarter than they are in certain fields. But like my partner Dave Sturgeon, who basically helps run my day to day, he's a far better negotiator than me. I think I'm pretty good. He's superior. Doesn't intimidate me because I still come up with the concepts. I've got other people that are fantastic analytical people. I love them. Now by hiring smarter people than I am, that and I know my weaknesses, I don't try to do what I'm not great at. I stick to my lane. I stick to what I'm great at and let the other people support me. So in that sense, my weakness becomes my strength.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I get that. And that's always been easy for me. I've always been looked like if it frustrates me, I won't do it. But I think that I'm not normal. I think most people are like, if it frustrates me, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to get better at it and I'm going to tackle it. And you know what I mean? And it's just dumb, right? It's just dumb. Another interesting thing you say is remember people can be like garbage trucks. Talk to me about this.
There's a great video. You can actually YouTube it. Just YouTube people garbage trucks. And I saw it. It's a great one because it shows this guy jump into a Uber. The Uber driver's got to slam on the brakes because a guy like stops in front of him. Guy jumps out of the car, is yelling obscenities, and then he waves and smiles. And the guy in the back seat's going, "What are you doing? Like you almost got us killed." And this guy's yelling and finally gets back in the car and drives off. And he's like, why were you that way? And the driver goes, and he said, I found that people are like garbage trucks. I said, huh? Yeah, they drive around and they dump their garbage on people. And sometimes they dump their garbage on you. It could be foul language. It could be giving you the finger. It could be doing a number of things. But the point is, you smile. You don't take it personal. You realize that they're just unleashing garbage they picked up from having a frustrating life, having a frustrating day. Don't take it personal. Smile and move on. And don't take that garbage and dump that garbage on somebody else. And we've got a policy on our team. Whenever we get a nasty email, a mad email, some people love to sit behind a computer and just bang out their meanest statements.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever reply to it. Call them. I've had so many nasty because all it does, it gets into a war of words. Emails. When someone's already emotionally charged up, you got to really depress down. Yeah, what's the word? You've got to really suppress it a bit and get it under control. It's much easier to change someone's mood just by, I remember Bible principle, an answer when mild turns away rage, right? When you are mild, it forces somebody to slow down and talk calmly. But if you said anything you say, they will perceive it as being angry, no matter how you frame it. But when you say it in a kind way, in a more mild way, hey, look, man, I love you. I wouldn't do that to you. That's a lot easier to calm someone down.
Yeah.
Live by it.
Yeah. It's hard to hate. It's much harder to hate up close. You know what I mean? And people hide behind that computer all the time. It's just dangerous. You know what I mean? It's just dangerous. And I love that. That's great point of view. Another thing you said is, it kind of falls into what you were saying is, don't stay down or let anger motivate decisions. Right.
Yep.
A guy told me this morning, actually on a podcast, Chris Voss, he was saying that he said, make a speech when you're angry and it'll be the biggest speech you ever regret. And it's so true, right? Like don't, shut, if you're angry, although it feels right to respond verbally and to personally attack because of your anger, it's the absolute wrong thing to do. Shut up, don't talk, don't respond, don't email, don't do anything when you're angry. Don't work when you're angry.
What I've learned with that, very valuable lesson, and I learned this actually right after my last girlfriend, before I met my wife. You actually remember that because I remember emailing you a picture of the night that I proposed, by the
Yeah,
way.
I remember that.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
but it was allow hard lessons in life to make you better and not bitter. And
Yeah,
so
some deep stuff.
so channel that energy and say, you know what? Okay, how am I going to get better from this
So
situation?
can I ask you personally, like what what happened and what you did about it?
So
How are you better now?
from the relationship or from other
Yeah,
situations I've encountered in
from
business.
that relationship,
Okay, so from
from your
that
ex.
relationship, it hurt, man. It hurt me. I took it personal. I was
She
basically
broke up with
slammed.
you.
She broke up with me because and she believed lies other people said about me. And
Weird.
so what I did, I did the list. I wrote pros, cons, and I wrote on the pro list what put it all out there. Why do I think this could work? But on the other side, why it wouldn't work, but what I'm going to do to get better and improve from this. How am I going to get better out of this?
Mm.
And what did I do that could have potentially made people say that about me? And how am I going to make sure that doesn't happen again? And that's
Mm.
where it came back with don't speak when you're mad. Don't channel your emotions to a positive thought and don't respond in negative
Mm.
and become better. So I kind of channeled that then in different phases of life. Even it's funny, even sometimes when I know over the years, some clients have lied to me, cheated on me, and left me. You know what? I think they're curious. Am I going to run out and try to get their biggest competitor? And I don't. So if I happen to know somebody in that market, I'd like to work with them. Now I have the opportunity to, but I don't spend all that time trying to go out and find somebody to replace somebody out of spite to say, see, told you so. That's not me. Because you know
Mm.
what? Because I could spend all that energy, but I'd rather spend that energy going out to find the right person for us that's a good cultural fit that might be in a different area, might be a different city, might be somewhere else. But you know what? To me, I'd rather become better and say, how can I become better than this? How can I show that? How can I make improvement off of what I'm doing and add more value?
Yeah,
I
see,
would
I think that pertains to a lot of agents. Particularly like let's say a listing agent gets beat, or let's say a listing agent gets beat three times in the same year by the same competitor, right? Their arch nemesis. Again, they could spend time trying to, better their presentation to beat them the fourth time that they go up against them, or they can spend time trying to find clients that might not necessarily be just interviewing five agents, that might just interview only them, and their life will be a lot easier. That's kind of what you're saying, right?
You know, it's funny. It's funny you say that, Pat, because you know if you look at any given market, if you add it up, let's say Baltimore for example, let's pick on say five agents that are doing over 200 units. You added all those up, you probably have maybe 10% market share. Would you say approximately? But what does that say? That says that 90% of people are doing business
And nobody
with.
has 10. I mean, if someone has 10% market share, they got 10% market
Uh,
share, like a
well,
zip
what I'm
code or a
talking about is
small town. Yeah.
if you add it up like the biggest players, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Not
Add up
even
the
that. Maybe
not even that.
Yeah. Not even
But
that. There's
so the
so
point
many
is
listings out there.
the biggest threat is not the big player in Houston. Lance Logan is not the target.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, I've told that to agents before. They're like, such and such has the market. They've got every listing. I go, yeah, well, how many lists? Let's look at it. How many listings are there? Oh, there's 4,000. I had this conversation like 2 weeks ago, literally with an agent. I said, how many, look it up right now. How many listings? They're like 4,000. It's like, how many listings does this person that they're talking about that they can't stand, has in there, like, whatever it is, a couple hundred, right? Listings, which is a lot for an agent. I'm like, dude, do the math. It's like, 2.5%. I was like, there's 97.5% the listings that are with another agent. It's just your perception. You think you see them everywhere, but if you're actually paying attention to all the signs out there, there's all these little agents that get listings.
You want to know the quickest way to make, and I think the trait you said about what's a good, traits of a winner. I look at guys that continually grow, like Lance Logan, like Rob Dukansky, and they get this. Is the quickest way to humble yourself is to take your market share. Even I look at Amy Wienans, one of my clients in Iowa, Cedar Falls, Iowa. She has about, I think, 27.5% market share. She does 600 transactions in a market of 30,000, 40,000 people, right? But even she will tell you, turn that number around. That means that 73% of that market is not work. 3 out of 4 people aren't working with her. What about all those people? There's still a lot more room to grow. Lance will tell you he only has 2.5% market share in Houston. Sells 2,500 homes, 3,000 homes. But he'll tell you, I'm only doing 2.5% market share. That means that 97% of this market isn't working with me. I got room to grow.
Do the math. It's worth every single dollar. That's a title of a comment that I got on my certified listing agent course from Rebus University. It's from Bill Rieg. This is what Bill says. Bill says, looking to take your listing presentation to the next level? I've closed 100 appointments since I took Pat's certified listing agent course. 5 appointments, 5 new clients, 60 days. Boom, do the math. It's worth every single dollar. Thanks, Bill. But listen, guys, I am offering this to you if you haven't already taken it, because so many brokers and teams make their agents take it before they do a single listing appointment. But if you haven't taken it, you can go to rebusuniversity.com and get it now. Now, here's the thing. For 30 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you that course. I'm going to give you the buyer agent course, which teaches you how to close every single serious buyer that calls on the phone or emails. This certified team agent course is taught by Jeff Cohn, one of America's top agents, on how to build a team from 0 to hero to hundreds and hundreds of units every year, step by step. It's like a 12-hour course, plus 7 other courses. Yes, you heard that right. All for a measly $127 a month. If you were to go to Rebus University and buy these courses individually, it costs you over $10,000. But today, if you go to futureofrealestatetraining.com, that's futureofrealestatetraining.com, you'll learn what Bill Rieg did, which is how to close 100% of the listing appointments you go on. Quite impressive. And you'll learn all the other incredible details provided in the 11 5-star courses that are offered. Yeah, it's like all you can eat bazaar. You go in now and you pay $127 a month. If you can eat all 11 courses in 1 month, that's all you pay is $197. This is a bargain, guys. Get it now. Futureofrealestatetraining.com. Hey, real estate rockstars, this is Pat Hyben, and before we jump back into today's content, I want to tell you about an extraordinary offer from an extraordinary company. I'm talking about My Outdesk. If you haven't heard of My Outdesk, basically they're a virtual assistant company, a VA company that specializes in virtual assistants for real estate agents. Yeah, I'm talking about transaction coordinators, marketing assistants. I'm talking about ISAs, inside sales agents that prospect thousands and thousands of seller leads and buyer lead follow-ups. I mean, these guys are trained in this stuff specifically. You're not using a company that doesn't know or understand real estate sales. 4 out of 5 of the top teams in the US use My Outdesk for their virtual assistants. And because I know the owner, Daniel Ramsey, I've known him for over a decade, and I know how awesome and incredible this company is and how it saves agents thousands and thousands of dollars every single week and makes them thousands and thousands of more every single week. We're going to give you a $400 coupon off of your first month of a virtual assistant and give you a free book entitled Scaling Your Business with Virtual Professionals. So you can read it and look into it before you decide anything. It's called Scaling Your Business with Virtual Professionals. And you can get it real easy. All you got to do is text the word HIBAN, H-I-B-A-N, to 31996. That's H-I-B-A-N to 31996. And download your free book, Scaling Your Business with Virtual Professionals. And don't forget to mention also that you get a $400 discount, which will give you a coupon for that when you download the book. Thank you, guys, and I hope you enjoy and make a ton of money using my Outdesk. Yeah, or if you're an agent that's wanting to bust in on a market, right? You look at the numbers and really do them on a percentage basis before you decide, oh, I can't start marketing that neighborhood because Sally Smithereens, has had that market locked up for 10 years. Every sign is hers. Well, look at it for real. Every sign is not hers. You know what I mean? That's just your hallucination.
Yep. Very true.
And there's room to grow, room to be the second person, Avis always tries harder, right? So, be Avis, not Hertz.
I like it. That's good.
So another thing you say is the most effective policies come with a system. What does that mean?
I love that. That's one of my favorite lessons. In fact, part of our team culture is I tell people from the get-go, you're going to make a mistake. I've made mistakes. Everyone in this team has made a mistake. But what I've found over the years is when you do make a mistake is rather than just come to you and say, hey, I'm sorry, is ask yourself, what system can I put in place to make sure this mistake won't happen again? And when I've done that with clients, it's very well received because it's going a step beyond. It's not just saying, I'm going to say I'm sorry and then I'm going to do it again sometime or I'm going to try harder. But it's going to say, you know what, I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again because I'm going to put this system in place to make sure that I'm going to catch this before it becomes a problem. And so the quickest way to get fired on our team is to come and say, well, I don't know what I would do differently next time. And you know what, I'm just going to try harder. I hear that. Say, you know what, I'm sorry. That's just, that's not acceptable. Because all that's saying is that it's going to happen again. But rather, look, I really truly want to find a solution. And most people, they never say that. They don't hear that. Like, wow, like he cared enough about this to really give thought as to what will make sure this won't happen again. Because in honesty, people want two things. They want you to own up to it, and they want you to tell me why I won't have to worry about this happening again. It's really what people want. It's what I would want.
Why won't I have to worry about this happening again?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to talk to you about, you've been doing this 15 years, Matt, and you've seen a lot of change. You've seen, what people responded to 15 years ago, what they're responding to now. What are sellers, because I know you mainly go after sellers. What are sellers responding to now that they weren't 15 years ago, or what has changed, or has anything changed? Is it all the same?
I think what's interesting is that Zillow proved what we've been doing for 15 years.
What do you mean?
I'm going to elaborate. I won't leave you hanging. So, we would push guaranteed sale a lot, as you know. That was and for some people, they said, absolutely no, I could never do that. That's deceptive, blah, 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 right? Meanwhile, our agents are making a killing off it because but now that you have all these iBuyer companies, you have Zillow doing instant offer. Well, why is Zillow offering to buy homes? Because Zillow said, you know what, 30% they figured out that 30% of people would respond if they raised their hand and said, we'll buy your house. They'll get a response from people. And 70% of those people will wind up buying homes within 3 months, will sell their home. So That's why they're making that big push. So we were right all along. That gets the immediate business. But I think what is important now that we're really working on with our agents now is, okay, we've already got that aspect figured out. What our game plan now is to figure out other innovative ways to get to that seller before they're thinking of selling their home. Get to them before they make that decision, because when they make that decision, that's when Zillow has an advantage. So does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, and again, it's kind of like, well, it's like seeing the big picture, right? And everybody's going to use it now that Keller Williams is doing instant offers, and and all the major brokerages, you're going to start seeing do instant offers as well. Um, they're really not looking to be a commercial flipper, and neither is Zillow. They're really looking to get leads, right?
Yep.
Just like you said. I mean, that's it. Doesn't matter what everybody says. Oh, it's a bait and switch. Oh, it's cheesy. Oh, doesn't matter. We want leads. This is how we're going to get them.
Yeah. And I'll tell you the other thing that I think has changed is I think people have it used to be years ago that people would pick up the phone and call if they were interested. And I've had both Bob Pittman, the CEO of iHeartMedia, Greg Ashlock, who manages all the market managers in every market. We had him at Mastermind again this year. They both said the exact same thing. People will choose convenience over quality. Make it convenient. In fact, it's funny. I finally got Greer Allen. I've been telling him for years at Boomtown to develop a better seller site. Finally, his guys are making steps to do that, because the problem is, if you're going to a website and you want to sell your home, you look at like OfferPad, Open Door, their websites are clean, easy to read, easy to use. And you know what? It's convenient. And people would rather, they would rather take the easy route, fill it out and leave, than to have to try to find a phone number, find a search form. They don't have time. And I think people assume that people are spending more time. The other thing is they want to do their homework. Now with the information age, you can read up on people. In fact, it was really interesting. There's a big major conference next week, a tech conference, and I'm sending my digital gal to it. And she was doing her homework in advance. She called me yesterday. She goes, Matt, you won't believe this. She said they're actually seeing now that people look at Facebook and LinkedIn before they even go to a website. They're doing their homework socially. So the more you can help people do their homework before they contact you, that's critical. Years ago when we started, all you had to do is, stick a sign in the yard, have a good ad, and get people to reach out to you. Now you've really got to be positioned well, better than ever. Google is the new yellow pages.
So why do you think, this is curious, this is a great question, and I love these in-depth questions, and there's only so many people on the planet I could actually have them with, so I appreciate you talking about this. So I know I met a guy that worked at Boomtown. One of his job was to create the seller platform, and it failed. This was 8 years ago, let's say. I don't know what the year was, but whatever, it was in the past. And now it sounds like they're picking it up again, right? So they trashed the tech debt was huge on it, and they trashed it. Now they're picking it up again. The other people have tried to do this, right? I mean, there's so many services, and a lot of them are starting to go out of business, right? That are buyer lead services, buyer follow-up services, all these services for buyer leads. Very few, if any, go after the seller leads. And so my question is, Matt, why do you think what is so hard about it? Why couldn't somebody do this 15 years ago, when all these companies started coming out trying to get buyer leads? What is it?
I think people assume that real estate is all about sticking a sign in the yard and waiting for someone to call them. And it takes more effort. You have to bring value. And you've actually got to show, you've got to be able to come with a good marketing plan. I remember I asked Jay Kinder one time, what would be the one, if you were selling your house and you knew you couldn't do it, what question would you ask your agent to see if they were worth their weight in gold? And he said, you know what I'd ask him? What's your system for attracting buyers? Most agents don't have a system. They figure stick a sign in the yard, put it in the MLS. They're not thinking of how they're going to get the home sold.
Yeah. I would probably debate you on that. I think a lot of it, at the end of the day, it is a bait and switch. You know what I mean? Lance Logan, a lot of these guys that you mentioned, at the end of the day, if you analyze their businesses, you price it right, you put in an MLS and it sells.
That's true, but you also
there's
want
no
to get
secret sauce.
exposure. You do
Yeah,
want to get
yeah. And the
you do want
seller,
to get
given the
exposure.
choice, if all commissions were the same and the seller had nothing, and so you know what I mean? Like if there was
Here's
nothing
an
else.
analogy. Now think of this. If you were going to sell, and I've used this actually on the radio before, if you're going to sell your car, would you take it to a used car lot and stick it on a lot with 5 junkers? You might put a great price on it, but if you could bring it to a dealership that had hundreds of brand new cars, they spent a lot of dough advertising, pulling buyers in, and now you sold it on consignment, where would the odds be better of selling it?
No, yep, it would be better at CarMax.
That's it. Oh, wait, the better at CarMax, you'd say, at the lowball used car lot?
Oh, well, I guess it depends. It goes back to that convenience, right? Because anybody that gets an iBuyer deal, any seller that gets an iBuyer deal is selling their house on the cheap.
Right.
So it's the same thing. You're going to CarMax, you're selling your house on the cheap.
Right, exactly.
But if you didn't have a ability to sell it on the cheap, or you wanted top dollar for it, would you want to put it at an auction with 1 person in attendance or 100 persons in attendance?
Exactly.
That's kind of what you're saying. So I
exactly.
agree with that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But going back to the question, like no one can really and I hope Boomtown comes up with it, but no, maybe there just is no really good way or effective way financially to get agents listings inexpensively and quickly. Maybe radio and television is it, right? I mean, and there's no tech that really, like I could pay money like I do Zillow and say, I don't want any buyer leads. I only want people that are going to list.
Okay, now I kind of get where you're going with this and what your question is with it. And ultimately, at the end of the day, people buy houses on the internet. They don't buy a house because of the agent, right?
100%.
When they want to choose who's going to be the person to sell my home, that's where they're making a choice.
Yes.
So what it really becomes down to is, how do you, the agent, get the attention of that person to tell them your story enough to motivate them?
Is there a digital platform that if they can do that effectively?
That's the $1 million question people are asking and trying to figure out, because they're trying to do it on the cheap. But what people figured out, and this actually what Bob Pittman shared last year, was that there were companies that came in, not real estate related, but general companies, big spenders, that thought, you know what, if we bought digital really cheap, we're gonna make millions, because we're gonna reach the same people. That's why people have said now the internet is the new, your phone is your new remote control, it's your new TV. So they've tried to do that, but what they found was, if there's nothing to drive to the top of the funnel, the internet is the funnel, right? But if you don't know why you're clicking on something, if you don't know the story, you're not going to do it. You see this on Shark Tank all the time. They've got a good product, but what do they tell them? You need education about this product to motivate somebody to grab it off the shelf. If you can't motivate somebody, just looking at that on the shelf is not exciting. Looking at agents, all of these agents in a row, they're not exciting. I sold 500 homes. Who cares? Maybe those were new construction homes. Maybe they were just, by chance. How do I know what you're going to do for me to sell my home? That's where the education comes into play.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the hard part, because there's such a huge value proposition, with the instant offer, right?
Right.
Like I visualize myself, I'm on Facebook, right? I live in, say, River Hill, right? Some agent has paid money to get an endorsement uh, with radio and television experts, Rascal Flats dude pointing to me saying, use Pat, right? So there's social proof there. Then underneath it says an offer on your home within 5 minutes, right? I'm going to click that sucker, right? So I think people should be doing more of that. And in real estate, the commissions are big enough to substantiate spending big money on ads to do that. Now, there's some industries where you're selling a $25 t-shirt, probably doesn't make sense to do that.
But I'll add this to the deal, to the mix on that. Gary LeVox did okay for us. Barbara Corcoran's been our home run. And I think part of the reason for that on TV, radio, we've been able to tell the story regularly to people where it's in their head. Now they know why they're clicking on the button. But Barbara's been able to get away with both on digital media as well as on TV because she's in the real estate space. You believe it when you see that Barbara is an investor in real estate. You believe that. And because of that, yeah, if she's recommended one agent in a market, I would believe her because I believe that she's a sharp investor. She's not going to put her name on a half-baked realtor. So that's also the factor of an endorsement. Why it's so important to pick the right match is because you want somebody that you believe really does know the product.
And she has a likability factor too. You know what I mean? She's
Absolutely.
she's like Ellen. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The lovers far outweigh the haters. You know what I mean? I mean, there's some people they could have just as many haters as they do lovers. And she's not one. I think she's very likable.
I think her, O'Leary, and Cuban are the three most popular sharks. I know that because they all share the same attorney.
Oh, is that right? Jeez,
true.
Must be busy. Wow.
Well, for Shark Tank, right? So they all have the same guy negotiating for them. So they'll always those three you'll always see on Shark Tank.
Huh. Interesting. Fascinating. Well, Matt, this has been a blast, buddy. I mean, we could keep going and going and going, and I appreciate you sharing what you've shared. I want to talk a little bit about your free gift. I see you've uploaded it already. Everybody that comes on the show gives a free gift that all our listeners can get. I'm going to put this, guys, on hibandigital.com/Matt Wagner 3, MATT Wagner, and the number 3, because this is his third time on the show. What's your free gift, Matt?
I actually wrote down the top 20, I said top 10 on this, but they're actually top 20 lessons learned in scaling a business from a good idea to 7 figures. Because I run into a lot of people. I have a lot of vendors at my mastermind or wannabe vendors that I kind of give them guidance before I let them become a vendor. Because there's a lot of people that start out with good ideas and they always ask me, what advice would you give me? What could I do now? So I've kind of put that down, but a lot of those same principles even apply to building a real estate business. There's a lot of little lessons you can learn along the way in building a team and all of these things are things, they're not just the Matt Wagner original. They're things that I've learned from Tony Robbins to Damon John to Barbara to a number of different mentors.
To hundreds and hundreds of real estate agents.
Exactly. So
and dealing with them. And guys, we went over, 5 or 6 of them here, but if you want all 20, it's going to be on hibandigital.com/Matt Wagner 3. Check out his other 2 episodes too, man. They're brilliant. I'm going to put all of Matt's contact information. Want to reach out to him, follow him on social media. You want to check out what he's doing in his company. Talk to him about, some killer radio and television spots, how to totally explode your listing inventory. He's the guy.
Thank you. I never take compliments for granted. Appreciate every one of them. And you've been very gracious over the years, Pat. I appreciate that.
My pleasure, man. And listen, now that I know you're in Manhattan, I will definitely, next time I am in New York City, I'll look you up and we'll definitely get together.
I love it. Very cool.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox, and it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now. Rockstar Nation, thank you for listening to Real Estate Rockstars. Listen, I need a favor. If you find this free content helpful, if you find our downloadable items from each guest helpful, please, I need you to pull out your pointing finger. Yes, the one finger that points at people, and hit subscribe. Yes, subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the better we look in the ratings, and the easier it is to get guests like Robert Kiyosaki, Barbara Corcoran, all the players that are on $1 million listing in the different cities. All that stuff makes it easier the more subscribers we get, so please subscribe. And listen, there's a lot of places you can leave comments. There's a lot of places you can like. We're on Facebook. We have an Instagram page. Instagram page is I am Pat Hyben. The Facebook is Real Estate Rockstars Radio. Feel free to leave us comments there. The most popular form of commenting seems to happen on YouTube. Yes, for whatever reason, it's a very open environment. So just go to YouTube and go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio. Leave us comments there. Some of them we will read on the show. We love your feedback. So thanks, guys, and I hope you are having a great day. Oh, and also, listen, if you're going to subscribe and you haven't already left a review on iTunes, please do that too. Have a great day, and thanks so much, Rockstar Nation. I really appreciate you.